Yeah, so I was born in Perth in Noongar country, WA, and moved here for my dad's work and started primary school here. I have two younger sisters as well, they're twins. And so we all started at Bangor School, public school, and then moved to Loftus Public School. And then I went to Kirralee High School for my final years of school. I'm a very proud Wanneroo woman, which is up northwest of Newcastle in the Singleton and Maitland area. Yeah, I'm just a very proud Aboriginal woman. Yeah, so where I'm born in Perth, that's not my land because my land is from my ancestors. So the land that I was born on in Noongar country in Perth, that's where I was born, but it's not where I'm from. So where I'm from is my ancestral line, and that is the Wanneroo Nation. I have very strong family ties through my mum's side, and I have my pa's brother lives up in Newcastle, so very close to our country. And yeah, we've always learnt about where we're from and our mob, so it's been very important for me to keep learning more about my culture and where I'm from. Yeah,
can
it
you tell me
is.
that?
It's
Is
really
it
good that people want to ask more questions, be more informed about it, because a lot of the history is lost. So, whilst I'm still learning as well, a lot of other people are at the same time. So, my nation and country are quite similar, like in regards to terminology. So, that's where you're from in regards to your ancestral line. And that's the same with clan. So, clan can be used as part of kinship and family ties, as well as a language group. And mob is just more of a colloquial term to kind of associate yourself with another Aboriginal person or an Aboriginal group. So yeah, you just use it as that's my mob, or yeah, I'm going out with mob, or
right?
that's yeah, it's more colloquial. You said Koori is
Yes.
what you use in regards to New South Wales. So
Right,
New South Wales are
okay.
Kooris, Noongars are WA, Murray's Queensland, and there's so many more to discover like out there. That's in regards to the state or territory that you're in. So that's just the association with Kooris.
Right,
When you're
okay.
speaking about an Aboriginal, you would usually refer to them in a more humane sense. So you'd add a person onto it. So First Nations people, Indigenous Australians, Aboriginal woman, man, person. Yeah. Yeah, so everyone always asks where you're from, and it doesn't actually mean where you live. It's more about where your mob is. So when somebody, I got to ask somebody, they'll tell me where they're from, and that's their mob. So they could be Kamilaroi, Dunghutti, any of the other nations, countries out there, and then they'll tell me a bit about where that actually is in regards to suburbs. So if that's up in Dubbo or Moree or anything like that, Armidale, like they'll
Right.
associate it then with the place that it is. So it's just having that more of a connection to yourself because that's your identity. And you find when you go to kind of like conventions or leadership kind of groups and stuff like that, you find more about people as well, where they're from, and you find, long lost cousins, or, you all find out where you're from and you end up being related somehow. And it's
Right.
like you didn't know that that was there because a lot of it is lost.
That
Yeah,
is
yeah. So Aboriginality is more relating to, I guess, it's like when it's more of like a cultural sense of like belonging as well. So
okay.
we you can have like a certificate of Aboriginality, and that you get
Okay.
that from your nation, and it's yeah. So that's just another piece of
Okay.
information.
So I'm looking at you. You've got this blonde piece of hair hanging over your face. I can see in your beautiful features, and that you have Aboriginal, you're an Aboriginal person, you have ancestry, but a lot of people would look at your blonde hair and say,
Yeah, blonde, blue eyes, fair skin.
how does that translate for you? Hearing people, I know that's a big question, and do you mind me asking that question?
No, I'm open to it because it is something that I've had to deal with my whole life, is that lost identity through my physical attributes. So it's really tough to just, it's a struggle with finding my identity, and that's what I've had to find myself and be strong within myself to go, that is who I am. And if people want to put me to a stereotype that they think what an Aboriginal person should look like, then that's up to them. They don't understand the history that we've gone through to get to a point where, there are fair-skinned Aboriginal people with blue eyes and blonde hair, and and that's how it is because of the history that we've had. And it's pretty hard growing up and having to not be black enough to fit in, but also be too white to not understand like what my other Aboriginal brothers and sisters go through, being so dark-skinned, and get that racism up front. So
you showed me a photo the other day and you said, this is what I go by, and it was a picture of a coffee with some milk in it. And can you tell me about that?
Yeah,
what does it say?
A cup of coffee is a cup of coffee no matter what. You can add as much milk into it as much as you want, and it's still going to be a coffee no matter what. So as dark or as white as it gets, it's still a cup of coffee.
Brilliant. Okay.
It's a lot of people should really understand that concept and that analogy, because it really does sum up our culture so well. Because Auntie Faye, the late Auntie Faye Carroll, spoke to me at school, and I'll always remember it, and she said, it doesn't matter what's on the outside and how you appear, it's just what's in your heart and what runs through your blood, and that line of your ancestors and all that. Yeah, it's always spoken to me, because that's how I really came confident with knowing my identity and just saying up front, this is who I am, and regardless of how I appear, that's me. Yeah, I think it's very important as Hughes and just part of the Sutherland Shire in general. This has such great Aboriginal history here, with Cornell was right in our backyard. Like, that just doesn't say enough about, the colonialism that's come through as well, and how our people have had to survive and struggle. So I think it's really important that in such a whitewashed area, that we really draw some attention to the Aboriginal history that we have here and the significance of our people, and to celebrate that in NAIDOC Week. So I think it's really important.
Is there something that you think, gosh, if I could just talk to people, if I had a platform, if I could yell it and scream it, I know that's a big question, because I bet there's loads of things. So I'm putting you on the spot right now. If you could say to everybody, I want you to get this bit, for goodness sake, just understand this.
Yeah.
Is there...
I think it's definitely drawing upon what I spoke about with the cup of coffee. It's that, we do come from long lines, like we are the oldest continuing culture on this entire planet, which is just such of significance, important to us, but I don't think we take it as seriously. And I think just understanding that we don't fit to one stereotype that you might have gotten from other people, just kind of understand, do your research with your history, and make a bit more of an effort, I guess, to understand how we've become, more appearing to be white. And especially in such an area like this, where it can get quite confusing. Yeah, I think I've been very fortunate to have a very aware family, and whatever question we asked, we were always then given an answer about it, and no discussion was ever too tough. It was just how we kind of conversed in our family. And I've been pretty lucky in that sense. But I guess growing up and also watching my younger cousin now, going around and saying, I'm Aboriginal and all that, I think that's so important to me. And I guess when I see what my mum thinks as well, and his mum and my pa, just going like, so much has changed for them, it really draws upon what has changed for me. growing up in school. And really, I guess for me, I've always just been a part of the change. Like, I've just really found a point to go, this isn't right, and I'm going to make it more aware, or make a program, get something better, get some change happening, and, you know, get things going ahead, which is really good for, you know, people like my younger cousin who's in year 1 to be growing up and going, you know, this is who I am straight off the bat,
Right.
and being proud of that.
And your younger cousin, a little boy?
Yeah, little boy, yeah.
And are his straight mates like, yeah, cool.
Yeah. And
okay.
I think that's awesome because, you know, growing up, it's also, you want to fit in, and you want to, you know, going through all stages of school, you want to have friends and you want to fit in, and you're trying to find yourself at the same time, where he's already coming out with that confidence and showing that those kids around him that, yeah, that's totally fine. Where I guess maybe for myself or my parents, like my mum or, you know, my pa, who grew up in Redfern and was in that era of the stolen generation, really had to hide it. And I guess, yeah, it would have been a lot harder, where he sees that now and goes, how awesome is that? So, yeah.
So that's wonderful. So we're talking about your pa. Your pa was part of the stolen generation?
He wasn't a part of the stolen generation, but he was in that era.
Right, of course.
Yeah, so he was, count our blessings that he is there to still have that tie with everything, with our culture and our country.
So he can just see the change, and he can see you sitting here in your beautiful shirt.
Yeah, like he
saying,
sees us
"Hurrah!"
wearing these shirts, and you know, we've got all these programs that we do, my sisters, my cousins, you know, we do all these programs, and he just sits back and goes, you know, his dad would just be so happy to see us walking around in the flag and in these shirts and being a part of this stuff, and just being proud of who we are, because that's something that they could never really be a part of because of those times. My Titter, My Sister by Marley Silver.
Can you explain the title of that?
Yeah, so my titter is the Aboriginal word for sister. So it's kind of that my titter, my sister, that parallel. And yeah, it's really important that we have that connection to our language, and especially as women, that we uplift each other.
On so many levels, Kirralee. You're rocking it. You're young. You're a woman. You're an Aboriginal woman.
Yeah.
You're leading the way for so many of us. And
Yeah.
It's been extraordinary meeting you. So Kirralee, I'm just going to ask, what are you up to now? You finished high school?
Yeah.
What are you doing?
Finished high school last year, and now I'm at UNSW studying aviation management.
Wow.
And doubling it next year with commerce.
Wow.
I'm working permanent part-time at Qantas, and obviously because of this year it's been a bit tough with the travel industry, so kind of stood down on and off, and in between my spare time I'm working at Coles as well.
And I think last night you went out, and what were you up to last night?
I was volunteering for the homeless.
Right. Okay. You are amazing. And you've got you love planes, you look after people.
Love planes, love aviation.
Yeah.
Yes, that's my path.
You are wonderful.